started dropping our heads a little bit, and I'm trying to teach our team that failure is not final, and let's move on to the next play. So I think that starting lineup did a pretty good job defensively. We just need to improve a little bit more offensively with pace and spacing and on-time, on-target passes, setting good screens. If we don't set a screen tomorrow, none of our plays are going to work because this is a physical team. And so we have to do a great job of executing on both ends of the floor, whatever starting group that we decide to start tomorrow.
Mark?
You talked about wanting to get Jimmy more touches. How do you mix that, the post touches in with the pace of play that you want to have?
I think part of it is, getting out on the break and Jimmy running and getting to his spot, trying to get deeper post position, and just having the confidence of our guards throwing him the ball when he's on his spot and not when he get pushed off of his spot. Then we have to have the appropriate spacing once he catches the ball and movement. We had a lot of standing around. I think sometime, we can cut a little bit more, cut harder, set up and cut. I think that'll help us out a lot more. But and again, I think the same thing in Jimmy's situation is what I told him early in the game. We've worked on your free throw. Rome wasn't built in a day. That's what my mom told me, even though she had never been to Rome. I don't know where she got it from. But I've been to Rome, so now I completely understand now. So even if you get off to a slow start with your free throws, it's not the worst thing in the world. You're going to get better. You just have to trust what we've been working on in practice.
Well, 3 more questions, starting with Ken.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned how young you are, how new everything is. How important is it, especially when you're playing at Dayton on the road, to get what you can rightfully expect from your veterans? Retton leading the way, and Shannon and Jimmy and those guys. How important is it for them to kind of show the way?
Yeah, it's important because anytime you can get players, whether they're talking in the locker room to their teammates or on the court, and putting their arm around the guy, and maybe pumping the guy up and just telling them, hey, let's, like I said earlier, move on to the next play. It's important when it's coming from veteran player or a guy that's been around. And I think while everybody loves to talk about the fourth quarter in the NBA or the last 5 to 7 minutes of a college basketball game, I'm a big first quarter guy, okay? I'm a big first 5 to 7 minutes of the first half college guy. So, I think getting off to a good start and having the right mindset and the right physicality and swagger and body language and concentration and confidence, I think that's just as important to set the tone for the entire game.
Sean?
Coach, you spent a significant amount of time in the Kennesaw State game with 3 and 4 wings, with Justin and Dayton and Retton on the floor at the same time. Dayton's a team that also starts 3 guards usually. What's the small ball lineup like that do for you guys, and what do you feel like you can get out of those positions?
Yeah, it's really about getting multiple ball handlers out there, trying to make sure that we can keep teams off balance in terms of our offensive execution. I think having multiple ball handlers puts the defense in a bind because they don't know who's going to start the play, who do we want to finish the play. All 3 guys are capable of making shots, and so if the teams like Kennesaw State tried to start off in zone and then go to man, and teams are trying maybe some of those trick defenses, you have guys that can, problem solve out there on the floor. Your best teams have players that can problem solve. As a coach, we got to give them the confidence and train and teach them how to do it. But during the course of the game, we don't have 20 timeouts to try to, hold their hand through every play. So when you got multiple ball handlers out there, hopefully they can problem solve in some of those situations for us.
Last question on the right to Matt.
Coach, when did you start looking at Dayton, and what were some of the things that you saw them do on film that made you feel like they're tough and hard-nosed, and just some of the things overall that impressed you?
When I got the job and was officially hired April 8th, while everybody was focusing on recruiting, which we were focusing on recruiting, and all of the other areas that we needed to take a look at. One of the big things we had to get started on early was our schedule. And I think that's a big part of coaching, is scheduling. And I wanted to try to put a schedule that was a schedule together that was conducive for this year's team, okay? And part of that is we started looking for early season stiff tests on the road. And there were a lot of different situations that we looked at. This one made the most sense. We know we're an underdog, a major underdog tomorrow, by the way. And it's gonna be like that for us, a lot the rest of this year, especially when we get to conference play. We understand, it's not like we were picked third to come in the preseason polls, right? I think there was a 1 in front of 3 for the Southeastern Conference. So, this was a strategic deal. We don't have anything to lose tomorrow. We just need to go up there and play our game. And then guess what? We'll have it on film, get it on film, and we'll be able to get back and practice in the laboratory and teach on Wednesday and see where we are going into our next game. But this was a much needed early season stiff test that we think we needed to embark on this role.
All right, thank you guys.
All right.